Blizzard has a message about the future, and also new content is coming next week. All right, you beautiful people, and welcome to the channel. Let's get stuck into this. So the first we're going to take a look at is Mike Ybarra, and he says this: we're committed to more open dialogue directly with the amazing player communities, not just from me, but from all of our incredible teams. And he quote retweets Blizzard Entertainment, of which he is the current president and leader of. We're putting our teams and players at the forefront of everything we do. Read more from Mike Ybarra. So let's go and read more and see what he says. Putting our teams and players at the forefront of everything we do. Now, this article is full of a lot of corporate speak, a lot of, hey, we hear you guys, we'll do better, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Now, I'm going to condense this down so we can kind of quickly go through it, because there are some little bits of, points of information that we should look at in this. But yeah, let's get stuck into it. We also know we need to deliver content to our players on a more regular basis and innovate both in and beyond our existing games. We have some exciting things to announce, and I'll be sharing more next week. I want to thank our communities and our incredible teams for your dedication and guidance, which will always be our North Star. Here's to an incredible 2022 and beyond, Mike Quick Ybarra. Now, of course, we are going to focus straight in on the fact that he says we've got some exciting things to announce, and I'll be sharing more next week. Now, we've got to remember here, this is for all of Blizzard. This might not even include Overwatch at all. I think that would be very strange, considering we know Overwatch League is going to play on Overwatch 2 this year, and that's in April. And while it's nearly the end of January, and with February coming up, you'd imagine we're going to get some bits and pieces of information popping around. Now, one thing we do know is typically in and around the investor calls, of which one is coming up fairly soon, that's when we tend to get announcements from Blizzard. So that's something to kind of look out for. But anyway, what concerns next week, I don't really know, guys. If I was kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say betting on this, because that means that I'd actually put my money where my mouth is. But what I'm saying is, it would be nice to see maybe a roadmap of development for Blizzard's franchises. Maybe they say, hey, we're going to do this for World of Warcraft, we're going to do this for Diablo, we're going to do this for Overwatch this year. That would be really cool. Because in the past, Blizzard have been very averse to actually giving us roadmaps for anything. In fact, they just don't. They flat out don't. They don't commit to things. And that may be a result of what we recently seen from Tracy, one of the producers on Overwatch, where she said a lot of things were basically cancelled or piled on them by Bobby Kotick, and so it makes development very difficult. You can't commit to things if one week it's going ahead and the next week suddenly it's been cancelled because, I don't know, the boss decided he doesn't like the look of it, so no, it's not happening. Must have been super frustrating. Anyway, let's move on. Now let's move on to Phil Spencer. Now, Phil Spencer is the head of Xbox and basically all of gaming at Microsoft. And these guys now effectively own Blizzard. Not until 2023. I know a lot of you guys in the comments will be like, Sty, they don't own them yet. What are you talking about? Like, it's only an agreement. Yeah, no, I know. But it's there, and the deal has been pretty much signed off, ready to go. It's just waiting kind of approval. And once it's done, I mean, it's waiting a lot more than approval. But I'm not going to go into all of that on the video because, frankly, I don't understand most of it myself. But it's a lot of technical mumbo-jumbo and all kinds of stuff. So it's a long way to go. But it's not until 2023 that this will go through. And then Phil becomes in charge effectively of everything Blizzard does. He says this on Twitter: had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honour all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationships. Now, you can see this absolute bad boy of a tweet has got 164,000 likes. Good God. Yeah, a lot of people like this tweet. Now, I'm going to kind of come out and be a bit of, I don't know, devil's advocate on this, because this is exactly the right thing you should be saying if you're Phil Spencer. Because you're not actually saying, you know what, guys, we're going to keep our games on PlayStation. You're just saying, yeah, we're going to honour our existing agreements, which kind of legally you have to do anyway, unless you're just going to break all your agreements, and then that's probably going to incur massive fines and penalties if they do that. So they're just not going to do that. I would honestly, guys, expect that in the future, maybe Call of Duty isn't on PlayStation. Now, when I say in the future, I don't mean next year or the year after that. I mean in a few years' time. Look at Elder Scrolls 6. We already kind of know that that is going to be an Xbox platform exclusive. Now, I think the only way around this is if for some reason Sony allow Game Pass to be installed on PlayStation, and I can never ever see that happening, because the moment that happens, Sony lose control of their platform to Microsoft, and that's just never, ever, ever going to happen. So I am kind of worried long term, honestly, guys. I am worried about what this means for PlayStation, because all Microsoft want to do is get all of the Activision Blizzard games on every platform where Game Pass is. And that's on mobile, that's on PC, that's on obviously Xboxes, and yeah, it's not on PlayStation. So unless that changes, I would say the long-term outlook for Call of Duty and just Blizzard games in general being playable on PlayStation is probably quite bleak. The Washington Post did an interview with Phil Spencer, and I'm going to show you this tweet, which kind of breaks it down, I think, a little bit better than me going through the article. So this is the kind of gist of what the interview got to. So Phil Spencer is confident that the workplace issues at Activision Blizzard will be resolved. He's happy with the new IPs and specifically mentioned King's Quest, Guitar Hero, and Hexen. By the way, guys, Hexen is an insanely good game. It's kind of from the Doom era of games. It's really, really good. It's like you basically... I'm not going to spoil it. It's really good. It's super good. I would like to see a new Hexen. Anyway, again, that's something you would just say because, all gamers are going to go, yeah, that's a massive W. You know what I mean? Similar to his tweet. Anyway, moving on. Wants to support the new teams to work on franchises he loved as a kid, which is cool. And there's a little bit of a quote there from the Washington Post interview. But I want to kind of look at this because I think this is more interesting. So this is on Reuters, obviously a massive news agency. And yeah, let's just go through this because I quite like this. So the success of Microsoft's biggest deal ever rides on rehabilitating Activision Blizzard's culture, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella declared after announcing the $69 billion transaction. Accomplishing that will require Microsoft to deviate from its usual hands-off approach on acquisitions to tackle what amounts to a clean-up job of fixing the famed maker of the Call of Duty games franchise, which faces multiple accusations of sexual harassment and misconduct, analysts and management experts say. Microsoft has traditionally allowed the companies it acquires to run autonomously. RBC Capital Markets analyst Rishi Jaluria, I probably said your name wrong, I totally apologise, said that in recent years, Microsoft purchased LinkedIn, GitHub, Skype, Mojang, the Stockholm-based creator of the video game series Minecraft, all of which have not seen major changes since their acquisition. The Activision deal on Tuesday will require a heavier hand. Since July, Activision has faced a lawsuit from California regulators, which, by the way, had no impact on the stock price at all, did it, Bobby? No, it was the delaying of Overwatch and Diablo 4, you dickhead! Activision faced a lawsuit from California regulators alleging the company fosters a sexist culture. It also has been the subject of investigative stories detailing allegations of sexual harassment internally, and its employees have staged workouts to protest Activision's response to the issues. Activision said it received requests from the US Securities and Exchange Commission for information regarding employment matters and related issues, and is cooperating with the agency. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, whose handling of the alleged misconduct has attracted media scrutiny, is expected to leave the company after the transaction closes, according to one source. However, cultural issues are never one person, Deluria said. This is going to be a lot more work for Microsoft. So I think that's telling, isn't it? Microsoft know they've got a big job on their hands. They need to get in, they need to clean house, they need to get rid... I mean, they're getting rid of Bobby next year. We know that for sure. But as I've said in previous videos, it's not just Bobby. You have to think of the entire leadership structure that's going throughout the company. People in key roles, key positions, they were put there for a reason, and if the ultimate leader of the company is a shit show, then it's obviously not great, is it? And we know there's loads of issues at Blizzard, so things need to change. And I honestly, again, I've said this in a previous video, but I think it'd be really probably the way forward if they eventually just break the studios down into their own thing again. It's not Activision Blizzard no more. It can just be Blizzard. It can just be Activision. And even within Blizzard, it can just be the Overwatch team. That's how it should be. That's how it was back in the glory years of Blizzard before they started, merging with Activision. They had some issues with Vivendi as well, who owned a lot of the stock. And so Blizzard really haven't really been their own company for a long time. But you can argue games like Warcraft and StarCraft, that's where they came from when Blizzard was its most innovative. Anyway, let's move on. What about Overwatch content? So we do know that there is an experimental card coming, and it's coming pretty soon. Maybe this comes out next week. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So there was a tweet from Jake, and he said, I'm excited to be able to announce that I'm handling the Flex Projectile DPS for the next Creator Experimental card, which is cool. And this prompted a post on the wonderful Overwatch forums on the Blizzard website. Now, Jake is taking Projectile and Flex DPS. They're actually splitting up the DPS this time for the experimental creator cards, because it's a lot of heroes, right? If you're expected to do all of the DPS heroes, it's like, what? That's a hell of a lot. Anyway, Jake goes on to say, Also, no, these are not coming today, and this tweet was from yesterday. We just got approvals to discuss it. It takes a ton of work from the dev side to take these from idea in my head to actual patch that works in game, so you'll have to be patient. So what about these creator experimental cards, and can we expect them to continue? Now, for the very first creator experimental card, which seems like an absolute age ago now, I remember actually saying I won't be surprised if Blizzard go ahead and keep doing this, because it is very much like the April Fool's patch, and a lot of people get excited, a lot of content creators get excited, a lot of the community get excited, a lot of people want to check it out and play it just because it's crazy. People like over-the-top things instead of boring, okay, we've changed Reinhardt's barrier by 5%. Oh, that's boring. We want mad changes, right? People want those changes. They'll play them. So we got this post from Andy B, the community manager, and he was asked, I don't know, after the criticism last time, you may want to soften the blow, lol. Now, that kind of really doesn't say anything, does it? I've read that off, but basically, that user on the forums is just saying, like, there was a lot of criticism last time around the patch and things like that. I mean, honestly, I think there was more positivity than negativity. Anyway, this is what Andy says. Critique is great. However, I personally believe the last experimental card was pretty successful by multiple measurements. It had a very high adoption rate, meaning a lot of players checked it out, had a very high hours played in comparison to other cards. Content creators were generally positive about it. Broadly, players were excited about it. I know that it's easy to be cynical and only focus on the negatives. However, you have to take the good with the bad. Otherwise, you're just cutting your nose off to spite your face. So what this means, guys, is we're going to see more of these. And honestly, I don't mind. I think these are great. I think it's a great way for content creators to have an actual impact in the game, you know, instead of just producing content outside of the game. It's really cool they get the opportunity to do this. And I look forward to these. I really like them, especially when they get, like, you know, some of the best players in the best roles to work on this stuff, like Jake working on Projectile. I mean, he's a great Junkrat player, right? We want to see this. He's a great Genji player. We want to see what he can do and what changes he wants into the game, and I'm all for it. I think these are good. But then again, I'm a content creator, so of course I would say that. All right, guys, like I said, I'm going to do my absolute best to keep you guys updated with the situation and what's going on. I'm looking forward to whatever the hell happens next week, and of course I'll cover that. But yeah, it's been an interesting week, this has. I'm almost feeling like I'm getting my mojo back when it comes to pumping out videos again, probably because there's something to bloody talk about when it comes to Blizzard and Overwatch. Yeah, all right, guys, thank you for watching the video. Remember, you can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. I'm Stylosa on Instagram, at StylosaUL on TikTok, and obviously at Stylosa on Twitter. And yeah, thanks, guys, for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.